What is going on? Happy Monday night. Welcome to another edition of Chips and Dish here on the All About the Birds Network. I, of course, am your host, Chip Keggy, a.k.a. Chip for the Birds on Twitter. Let's get into it. I mean, there are so many things happening in the world of sports right now. Obviously, we're going to get into the Sixers. We're going to get into things going on with the Phillies. We're going to talk golf for the first time on the All About the Birds Network, Chips and Dish episodes, at least. We have the special shows. But we're going to talk some golf tonight because something happened that's really been getting to me, and I wanted to address it here. And I have a platform, so I'm going to do that. And then we'll get into all the other things that are going on, and the comments will roll in, and we'll kind of naturally go off on tangents. I brought my girl Kelly Kapowski with me this fine evening to give me some inspiration. I brought my high noon, so we're ready to go. Before we get anywhere, a little clickety there. Before we get anywhere, again, lots of sponsors. We got to shout them out. Statement Games, fun free twist on fantasy sports. Make sure you are checking them out. Link in the bio. Oddsjam.com. Again, link in the bio. They help you not lose money. That is big. Of course, the All About the Birds, Chips and Dish especially, is sponsored by 99 Jerseys. Get your the code is now AATBirds20. It is different, so use the code AATBirds, I should say 20. I flipped the wrong ones there for a 20% discount. And of course, manscaped.com, your balls will thank you. And I'll be playing a new commercial tonight. Some of you hopefully have seen it already. It's for the dads and grads in your life. So you'll be hearing that. And of course, don't forget the AATBirds.com shop where you can get all of your merchandise. Shout out to our boy Matt. I know he just recently got his playoff maxi gear right there, covering up my face. I'll go this way. I'm over here now. Playoff Maxi, who played well. So again, get your stuff, get your products, support small local businesses. All right, I've plugged, I've done it. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the big news first. The Sixers got beaten game one. Who's to blame and how are we going to fix it? Look, when you look at the final box score, it's very misleading, right? It's very misleading because it was a couple points. But if you watch the game was so bad for so long. And why was it bad? Well, because we got a Brett Brown level coaching job. We got a Brett Brown level coaching job where Doc Rivers is to blame yesterday. Right? Doc Rivers was to blame for that loss yesterday. He got absolutely popped in the mouth. He got popped in the mouth and didn't adjust, right? And Matt's saying right away, play the game like you did in the second half. utilize the trap a bit early. But it was so much more than that. It was so much more than that. Specifically, I'm putting the blame on two people. And I'm not going down the ref route because there's no point, right? There's no point in going down the ref route. Kelly, 100% Doc. I knew you'd agree with me. I'm not going to go down the ref route because you could. The refs were bad. They blew calls. They blew the calls where, Danny Green got his shirt tugged. Danny Green lost his mind. The ticky-tack calls that Trae Young seemed to get every single one of. The things that got Ben in foul trouble early. I mean, you could – all of that. Absolutely all of that. But that's in every game. So let's back it up a bit. Let's look at the things the Sixers could control. In the first half, they went down by almost 30 points. And my wife, listening from the other room, right away, it's hard to say where all the blame should be placed, but the turnovers have to stop. They looked a hot damn mess. And how do you fix that? As Manny just said right away, it's coaching. Doc Rivers got out-coached by Nate McMillan in game one for at least the first half. And they dug themselves such a severe hole that, yes, they looked great in the second half. Adam, what's going on, man? Excited. We got to talk because you were at the game. You got to share some things. Right? But here's the thing. He didn't adjust until it was way too late. The turnovers were horrific. Look, the Hawks shot absolutely lights out, right? The Hawks shot absolutely lights out to the point of, you knew Trae Young was going to get his points, and he was shooting great, right? Finished with 35. Bogdanovich, he's a good shooter, finishes with 21. But Kevin Huerter, I don't know how you say the dude's name, but he hit us up for 15. Gallinari came in, hit points. Lou Williams, he's been the sixth man of the year for a reason. John Collins getting 21 points. You have to stop somebody. And if the only person you're stopping is Solomon Hill, you're not going to win a basketball game against the Atlanta Hawks. You're just not going to do it. So starting right away, the defense, the way they played in the second half has got to be the focus. So how did they adjust, right? Real simple. They put Ben Simmons on Trae Young, and they stopped it at the head of the snake, right? They cut off the head of the snake. Yes, he can still get his assists, and that's where the other guys need to step up. Thibault, you know what? Here's where the second part of my blame falls. Danny Green should not start game 2. I know. Here's my controversial hot take, right? Danny Green should not start game 2. Matisse Thybulle should start in his place. Now, why do I say that? Let's start off with the easy number to read. Danny Green scored 4 points in 30 minutes of basketball. Let me say that again. Danny Green scored 4 points in 30 minutes of basketball. All of the other starters had at least 17. That was Ben Simmons as the low man. Danny Green for the past couple of games has not been the consistent playoff Danny Green that he is expected to be. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's the bad shot. I mean, the shots that he's taking, those corner threes, that's the Danny Green corner. He's shooting from Danny Green corner. But he's worried about, exactly like Matt's saying, he's worried about the refs. He's not focused, and he's not hitting his shots. And look, shooters get streaky, and I get it. And we're so lucky to have Seth Curry, who can put up 21, and Tobias Harris, who can put up 20 and get a double-double. And Ben Simmons gets a double-double. And Joel Embiid playing with a torn meniscus, getting 39 and being 1 rebound away from a double-double. But if you are going to play 30 minutes of basketball, you cannot shoot that badly and play defense at an abysmal level like you did. Sip to the truth. You can't do it. You cannot play defense against Trae Young on such an abysmal level. And I know it's been beaten to death, but you can look at one play. You can look at the one play where it was fourth quarter, 18 seconds tick off the clock simply because Trae Young knew how to read the clock. Trae Young never picks up the ball. The shot clock doesn't start, but the clock is rolling. The clock is rolling. He fakes picking it up. Joel Embiid is losing his mind behind him. Pressure him. Pressure him. At that point, it's close enough. Pressure him. Pressure him. 18 seconds tick off the game clock. 0 seconds off of the shot clock. If you are playoff experienced Danny Green, that cannot happen. And there are so many other things that we can talk about. But if I am ranking in importance, I know the whole clock thing doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but you have to touch the ball for the shot clock to work. Inside of a certain amount of time, the clocks stop after each possession change and each dead ball. But when that clock is rolling, you have to, it was nobody's ball. It was nobody's ball. That ball was there for the taking. And Danny Green, all he had to do was pressure him. What was he afraid of? He was going to get blown by? Well, you have 4 other guys on defense and enough time for them to get in front. But for you to allow 18 seconds to tick off the clock in the game where you have the momentum, you can't have that. So if I'm ranking the order of blame for the game 1 loss, Doc Rivers takes the most. He's coach. He has won championships. He's got to do better. And I literally had to call in Phil from the mountains. I had to call in Phil from the mountains.
I literally just jumped out of the hot tub just to jump on here with you.
Just to jump on. And I'm going to hold you for long enough because I know you might not be doing your golf show tomorrow, but I do want to talk golf with you if that's cool.
That's absolutely. The golf show Fairway to Heaven will be live tomorrow. Jason will be live tomorrow. I'll be producing it. I might jump on for a second or two, but he's got a special guest with him tomorrow to do the golf show because Jason's a Detroit Pistons fan. He doesn't know about playoff basketball.
True.
So he could do a golf show and not worry about the Sixers game that's going on. But I know you have some golf questions for me for tonight.
I do. And it's not so much golf as much as it's how the hell the PGA is going to be allowed to get away with what they did. But let's focus up for a second. So I am currently placing blame on the game 1 loss. And in my mind, it goes Doc Rivers takes the most, followed very closely by Danny Green. Not very closely. He's definitely a number 2, Danny Green and what he produced. And then after that, it's a myriad of issues, including Ben Simmons has got to get this free throw thing under control. How do you see it?
Well, I think you're right on the Doc Rivers at number 1. I don't know if you can necessarily blame Danny Green because Danny Green's flaws in game 1 were Doc Rivers' fault.
Okay.
Doc Rivers should have pulled him off of guarding Trae Young much sooner than he did. And so you can't necessarily you can't necessarily blame him for being put in a position to fail. If you're the boss and you put your employees in a position to fail, they're going to fail. So I love Doc Rivers. He's way better than Brett Brown and has shown that this year. But the problem is, last night was a Brett Brown type moment for Doc Rivers.
Yep. I've watched enough Doc Rivers games where I've never seen him watch a basketball game get out of hand. He always does something. He straight up watched it happen and got to such a point that by the time he finally was like, oh my God, I have to fix this. And he made the adjustments and he started doing the full court press and he started putting Ben Simmons on only for a very limited amount of time. And then it was right back to Danny Green. By that point, it was too far out of reach. The fact that they made it a 4-point game shows just how good of a team the Sixers are.
Right. Absolutely. And I see a lot of people, there's boatloads, and I mean boatloads of non-Sixers fans out there that are Hawks fans all of a sudden. And they're talking about how the Hawks have another gear. Well, the Sixers have 2, 3, 4 more gears than what they showed, yesterday. So I'm not worried about that aspect of it. I'm worried about the aspects of the game where, that the Sixers can't control. The coaching, the players can't control the coaching, but also the refereeing. And again, we talked about during the Wizards series how bad the refs were. And again, it seemed to be a same kind of issue last night as it was in the Wizards series.
I don't understand. Again, it goes into that point that we were making before of what constitutes a playoff foul, right? Oh, that's a playoff foul. Trae Young was begging for calls and got them. But you could see, and again, this is the one that keeps sticking out to our mind. Danny Green's shirt physically extended, followed by a turnover, and there's no call. And Danny Green was right to be irate about it. I don't understand how those discrepancies can be there and how nothing gets done time in and time out.
Did you catch the play? And I forget which one of my followers or which one of the people that I follow posted on Twitter today. There was a play, and I missed. I'll be the first to admit, I was working a lot yesterday, so I missed some of the nuances of the game. There was a play where somebody on the Hawks was on the free throw line. Mm-hmm. Trae Young was standing next to Joel Embiid. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
and he literally flopped off the free throw line trying to draw a contact foul on a free throw. And I'm surprised it wasn't called a foul because, again, I don't think it's far reach to say that the NBA doesn't want the Sixers and the process to work. And they will do what they can to make sure it doesn't work. And that right there, I wouldn't have been surprised if foul was called there.
I don't understand. Again, and you might be right. And we can, every single time a situation like this comes up, you do start to see situations arise where, the conspiracies start to come in. But in this situation, you have a team that went down to the absolute frame of a franchise, the bare minimum, and started rebuilding a team. I'm using a car analogy here, rebuilding it piece by piece. And all of a sudden now you have a very impressive final product, but they don't want to admit that you could do it this way because it was bad for business.
Look, it may have been bad for business. It may not have been, whatever you think about the process, but other teams are doing it. The Oklahoma City Thunder are doing the process.
Yep. Right they now. Are not a good basketball team, and they're trading.
And they literally have 27.4 picks in the next 2 drafts. And the NBA only has 2 rounds of draft. So it's insane the amount of picks that the Oklahoma City Thunder have acquired. But yet there's no talk about that because it's a small market. But the Sixers are in Philadelphia, a major market, and the NBA doesn't want that kind of reputation. And it's upsetting. It's frustrating for a Sixers fan, but also as a basketball fan because, it's clear as day. You don't have to be a Sixers fan to see the bias that are being thrown towards the Sixers right now.
Right. And that's it. You look at a team like Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is up last I saw by 20. And why they've got they tuned out in the first quarter. What was that?
I tuned out in the first quarter. It was so bad.
Yeah, it was a stomping because again, you put some of the best players in the entire league on the same team, they're just going to score. I brought Don in straight off of his podcast because I know I'm like I know we first off we went twinning today. We were both wearing our Lower Marions. I took mine off for Kelly Kapowski. My girl needed to support me today. Nice. I'm feeling a type of way.
Wait, hold on. So you got to go on there and get did you see the Bayside Zach Morris AC Slater?
I did.
The AC Slater number 6.
Zach Morris. Listen, I'm a heck of a lot more than you. Believe me, I seen it. I see. All right, so Don, we're ranking right now why they lost game 1. I have it as Doc, Danny, got to make some free throws. And again, the refs you can put in anywhere. I'm just at this point assuming the refs are going to be terrible. Phil says, agree with Doc, and then you're putting the refs at 2, right?
I'm putting the refs at 2. And okay. Danny Green would be 3 for not living up to his billing.
Right. How do you see it, Don?
So I'm going to sit the whole ref piece aside. And because I went back and tried to look at, you cannot let Danny Green be within a mile of guarding Trae Young.
No.
In my mind, like that piece that you sat on, like I think Doc got caught sleeping and watching the game and not actually coaching. So for me, number 1, the biggest change that you have to make going in is that you have to swap in Matisse Thybulle into that starting lineup and then rotate and let either Thybulle or Ben Simmons guard Trae Young. You can't have a lineup out there that is your entire bench.
No.
Your starters
hold on. So you say put Matisse out there, but I'm sure you know the play. where Trae Young clearly pushed off and leaned into Matisse, and the foul was still called on Matisse.
Right.
So does it matter who's guarding Trae Young when the refs are clearly going to favor Trae Young on every situation? And I brought it up today on Twitter that it's going to turn into the NFL, where wide receivers have such an advantage over defensive backs. You literally can sneeze and get a defensive penalty called on you in the NFL. That is what the NBA is going towards at this point. It doesn't matter who's guarding Trae Young.
I think back to the early 90s in basketball, right? And if you broke 100, that was a pretty impressive offense. If you were in the 109, 110 range, you were a dominant offense. Now, 128 to 124, you are not allowed to play defense. It's a great point. And even the wife agrees. So you and the wife have been agreeing with me or with each other all day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't help myself. Listen, I'm wearing my Continental, hot tub, little jacket. Anybody knows what the Continental means can laugh at that joke, Won't explain it too much.
When I tried to take that aside. I know that there were a lot of calls that were blatantly missed or in one direction or the other. But in my mind, you can't get caught in a 17-0 run.
No,
an entire bench lineup and not make a move. Your starters have to play, I don't know, call it between 39 and 44 minutes.
Phil, how many times did you say
you've got to shrink the bench?
All the shows, Phil, you said it so many times. They have got to shorten this bench up to the point of some of these guys don't even have to take their warm-ups off.
I'll take it a step further. You have a player on your team playing with a torn meniscus.
Yep.
And he led your team in minutes played.
Yeah.
And everybody that watches any of the shows I'm on knows how much I love Ben Simmons and how much I love Tobias Harris. But there's no reason for Joel Embiid and his torn meniscus to be on the court more than the two of them. So I'm not criticizing them per se. I'm criticizing Doc Rivers for the fact that he had, I don't know what the final numbers were. What was it, 36 minutes of Ben Simmons and 35 minutes of Tobias Harris? Something in those
Joel 38, Ben 37, Seth and Tobias 36, Danny 30. Dwight Howard.
That's not good enough.
Dwight Howard.
That is not good enough.
8 minutes for Dwight Howard.
That is not. Well, the Dwight Howard thing, I could live with the minutes on the Dwight Howard. But when you have Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris with less minutes than your guy that has a torn ligament in his knee, that's bad coaching right there. Ben Simmons needs to play 40 minutes yesterday. Tobias Harris needs to play 42 minutes yesterday based off the way the game was going. You did not need Korkmaz. Hey, even we all love playoff Maxey. We all love playoff Maxey. But you know what? He's not ready for that moment yesterday. You could tell that from minute one. He was forcing layups and shots. That's when you say, all right, let's stash him back on the bench. Tonight's not his
Shake
night.
Milton lasted 1 minute. Literally 1 minute. That's how far he has fallen off. 1 minute.
That was actually smart. That he only played. That was actually, I won't lie.
I agree. That was a good
smart
decision.
minute for Doc. Doc was trying to find a spark at that moment with Shake Milton. But Maxey had 15 minutes. You could tell in minute one, Maxey was not ready for that moment.
Right.
And that was a Doc Rivers mistake.
Don, how do you see it? Is it what needs to change? Let me add it this way. What needs to change game 2? And before you answer, I like that I'm being NWO invaded by the DOB guys. We got Rich popping in too. I didn't even send him a link. He hacked in. It's crazy.
I hacked in.
Oh, wait, where do we have to rank Triple H's on the blame meter?
Oh, that would be number 2. I ain't letting any member of DX out on that court ever again.
Too much pregame show, I think.
Too much hype. Too much suck it. Not enough buckets. Not enough buckets.
Yeah. Too much fuck it, not enough bucket.
I feel
my drink's too empty for that.
I imagine.
So Don, how do you fix it?
So in my mind, and we were talking about this tonight about how I think you've got to increase the opportunities to put pressure on the Hawks. They in that second half crumbled under the pressure, giving up that 26-point lead, letting the Sixers all the way back within 2. I think you look for opportunities, and it's not viable to put them in a full court press the entire game.
It's not.
But if you say, all right, anytime we get a fast break bucket, press. In the last 3 minutes, made bucket, press. Anytime you get that opportunity to just throw the pressure on there, I think you're going to see those turnovers happen.
Right. Rich, so you got to answer it twice. Yeah. You got to answer it where your problems were and then how you fix it. So give me your top 3 issues with yesterday, and then how do you fix it?
Well, Danny Green playing defense on Trae Young. Yeah, that's not going to happen ever again.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't.
No. He's going to come. He needs to come off the bench. He's going to go to a bench role. Be the guy who comes in, hit some threes. He can't start. You have to start Matisse. If you don't start Matisse over Danny Green, then it's just going to be a problem. You need 2, I would say, elite defenders in there with Ben and Matisse. You put Ben on Trae Young because that's who he wants to guard, and you let everybody else beat you. You're enough with that.
Okay.
Enough with the Danny Green trying to play defense. I'm fine with not seeing that. And Ben needs to stay on the court. Like, I get the whole we had too many turnovers, we were down too much. The substitutions, Doc said, just weren't adding up. He said, so that's why you saw my all bench lineup more than you should have. But you cut that bench, take it down.
Even more down. Even more down.
Goodbye, Korkmaz. Shake doesn't even see in a second. I don't even want Shake dressed because that's how terribly he plays, even in a minute that he gets. I have no idea what happened to the guy. I don't even want to ask him. I'm just going to pile that away with all the dog shit that he does. And then Maxey, like you said, Phil, he's not ready for that spot. He's not ready for that spot. I love the energy and I love what he brings, but he forced some really bad layups, really bad drives yesterday. And I'm like, I don't think he's ready. Tobias needs to step up.
Mm-hmm.
Ben needs to play all game. There's nobody in better shape or has a higher motor than Ben Simmons. And that block showed you everything that you needed to see.
Yep, the chase down. I heard you say that on your show. I was listening because you were really hyping that up, and it's true. You saw the athleticism in that one back and forth block, hustling all the way down the court series.
He doesn't sweat. My man does not break a sweat. He is completely fine with playing 44 minutes. And he's the guy you need in there facilitating the second team with George Hill. You do not need to take Ben out to have George and Maxey and Furkan. Furkan, thank you for a few threes, but I'm done with you too. You're going to sit on the bench. Keep your guys in. Joel almost scores 40, and you lose. Like, you're not going to see
that doesn't happen
again. Those video game numbers, that's over with.
Look, I have to absolutely disagree with you 100%. You do not bench Danny Green at this point. If you're going to talk about Maxey not being ready for the moment, Shake not being ready for the moment, Matisse is ready for the moment to an extent on defense, but he does not have the experience that Danny Green does. You're not going to pull Danny Green out of the starting rotation at this point. That is not a smart decision, in my opinion. But on the flip side of the equation, you can coach him and put him somewhere else on defense. You can have Ben Simmons from the get-go on Trae Young. You could definitely do that. And then when you want to move Ben Simmons off of Trae Young, whether it's for foul trouble or whatever it is, then you put Matisse in. But Matisse and Ben Simmons in your starting rotation hurt your offense so much. You need somebody that at least has the confidence that they could try to knock down a shot. Danny Green has the confidence to knock down the shot. Whether he makes it or not, over the long haul, his numbers are not bad. He had a bad game yesterday, but in the big picture of the equation, his confidence offensively is worth having him in the starting rotation.
I think
I give you all that.
I think for experience purposes, I agree. You keep Danny Green in the starting lineup because he's a member of the last 2 championship teams. I mean, he does. This is his time. This is why you brought him in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if he's starting to shoot like he has, not even just for the last game, but for the last 3 games,
right?
Game 4, Game 5, and Game 1, he has not shot the ball well. He is in a cold streak.
Well,
He's in a cold
he's-
streak.
And
But
if he's,
so in that
if
point,
he's-
you do sacrifice the offense that he's not providing for the defense that Thibault will provide.
right, because if
That's-
he's
Gotcha.
if his main asset is that he's going to give you threes and no D's, well then, and he's now giving you no threes and no D's, then Phil, he absolutely has value. Absolutely. That playoff experience, his ability to be able to knock down threes, absolutely. But if he's not doing one of those two things, do you put him in a role where he can come off the bench,
But you got to put him in a role in the starting lineup where he can provide that. How many corner threes did he take yesterday? 0. I mean, I didn't watch every second of the game, but every shot I saw him take was from an uncomfortable position for his style of his game. You should never have him on Trae Young, the fastest guy on the court.
No.
Danny Green's defensive style isn't to guard the fastest player on the court. He's at his point in time in his career. That's not what you do. So I don't blame Danny Green for his poor performance yesterday because he wasn't put in a position to succeed. You, as a coach, as a manager, as a boss, you need to put your people in a position to succeed. And Danny Green was not put in that position yesterday.
And that I will give you. You know, he definitely was not put in a position to succeed. However, he is still he's playoff. That's what he's supposed to be doing. Again, I agree with Jason's comment here. They were a little unprepared. I almost think it wasn't even so much that they were unprepared as they were so confident. Like the way that Embiid came out, it was cocky. It was cocky as hell. And I think it was too much focus
on the DX and not enough focus on the game. When did the
too much focus on the fuck it, not the bucket. You know what I mean? Like that's what it comes down to.
What it was.
And that's okay if you're going to then win the game by 30.
To quote Triple H and Shawn Michaels, are you ready? They weren't ready yesterday.
No.
And to quote Kevin Hart, they weren't ready.
You wasn't ready. No.
All right.
Are you ready?
So, Phil, I got to respect your time. You popped on. You popped out of the hot tub. You bundled up the chesticles. You kept the beard looking all nice.
The Manscaped stuff hasn't. I haven't used enough of it yet lately. If you notice, me covering it up here.
Well,
but
I'm excited to hear the new commercial.
Oh my God, it's
the new commercial is great. I am the spokesperson for the new Manscaped commercial. My Italian jeans, literally.
It's the most absurd thing on the planet, and I'm very proud of it.
Jason, I am calling out Triple H. I've already called out Triple H. Anytime Triple H wants to go one-on-one, he don't have the balls to go one-on-one with me.
God.
That's not the Jim Mean talking. That is just me being that confident in myself.
Cracking another one. There we go. All right.
That's right.
Phil,
that's right.
We're having a special moment here. For the first time, I'm talking about the PGA Tour on Chips and Dish.
Yep.
Now, let me say this before I say anything else. I understand very little about golf because it doesn't interest me. I'm a lefty, so I never got interested playing growing up because there were never clubs for me. Plus, I'm a spaz, and I can't stay focused on that for that long amount of time. However, a story happened over the weekend that was PGA, but it was the PGA being some absolute sons of bitches.
Absolutely.
So here's what happened, right? There is a guy named Jon Rahm, right?
Actually, and I learned, just so you know, I gave you how to pronounce his name, Rahm, but his name is Jon Rahm Rodriguez. I didn't even know that. I've been following PGA Tour for 15, 20 years. I didn't even know his last name was Rodriguez. I always thought his last name was Rahm, just to throw that out there.
So John Ramen Smith, John Ramen Noodles over here, is ranked, number 3 in the world? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I did my research. He's ranked number 3 in the world. He is playing in an event. I don't even know the name of the event. That's how much I don't know golf. He was playing in a non-Masters tournament event. He was a non-U.S. Open event. Phil, it was the
Memorial, hosted and sponsored by the great Jack Nicklaus.
Right.
Greatest golfer of all time.
He's currently on my shit list for this story as well. So he is playing. He is 6 strokes ahead in the lead. Finishes his 3rd round. Right. So in golf, you play 4 rounds. He finishes the 3rd round, 6 strokes in the lead. Very much a high chance of him winning. In fact, Phil, in your previous episode of Fairway to Heaven, did you pick him?
I did not, but Jason did.
Okay.
And I had, who was in 2nd place at the time, Morikawa, picked to win, who just automatically, after you explain the story, magically became the 1st place person after this.
Oh my God, how does such things happen? So what ends up happening is he finishes the 3rd round, and on so he literally, picks up the ball, hey, a little wave to the crowd, PGA official. And of course, there's a camera right on him. And on camera, they announce to him that he must withdraw because he has tested positive for COVID-19. On live camera, with the microphones on, and you can hear everything because it's golf, says that he tests positive for COVID-19 and has to withdraw from the PGA event that he was winning by 6 strokes. So starting right off at the top, the HIPAA violation is obvious. You cannot disclose people's medical information without their consent to do so. So right away, he can sue them for a HIPAA violation, no question. That's where my comment down here is, and should pay legally. If I'm Jon Rahm Noodles, I would absolutely sue them for the cost of the tournament and what the purse of the tournament was.
Which was
my wife is sitting right over here texting angrily that she has a problem with this. I told her about this morning. She was like, are you kidding me? She was so heated about it. So heated. Yes, Jason, it is a violation. Yes, it is terrible optics. It's an absolute tragedy. I'm going to stop. I'm going to literally give Phil the spotlight for a second here because you deserve it.
I don't even know which way to go with this. Don't zoom in on me. I'm still in my Continental jacket here, I don't know. First off, it was $1.67 million to 1st place at the Memorial yesterday, and he gets $0 because he had to withdraw.
Boom.
Now, I don't know who to blame. Do you blame the PGA for walking out onto the 18th green and telling him this on live TV? Do you blame CBS for continuing to air it? Now, Jim Nantz is a legend in sports talk. He did the best he could with the situation. He didn't know what the situation was going on.
Nope.
But he could easily have said, well, let's cut to a commercial and then come back afterwards. Do you blame Dottie Pepper, the sideline reporter that said, I just got confirmed through my reporter that he tested positive for COVID? I don't know who to blame. So I'm blaming the PGA because literally, for those that don't watch golf regularly, when you finish your round of golf, you have to go into the clubhouse and sign your scorecard. And your score is not official till your scorecard matches the professional guy in the clubhouse, whoever the professional is, their scorecard. And it's happened before on professionals. Errors happen on scorecards. So, so Manny is saying CBS has a delay. Exactly. You could have easily come to commercial and, so the PGA is at fault 100% here, but so is CBS.
Yes.
And I don't want to get into details about COVID. I don't. Because COVID is what it is. Everybody's got their opinions on COVID. Why couldn't he have played his round Sunday, by himself?
Well,
none of his competitors had a withdrawal. He was close contact to his competitors. Morikawa, Cantlay, all those other guys. Why didn't they have to withdraw? So it was a black eye majorly and a total black mark on the sport, which has a lot of black marks at this point.
Well, and
I did some research today. Because I wanted to. And I'm currently looking at an article from the Columbus Dispatch, right?
Okay.
Where Jack Nicklaus, and this is where my love for the Golden Bear, right? It's the Golden Bear, right?
Yes.
It is the Golden.
Again, I know he's Jack Nicklaus. I know he's one of, if not the greatest golfer of all time. However, he sounds like an absolute asshole in this article, right? And he said, and I'm quoting this article, he goes, where is, I lost the quote, but he was like, oh, well, it's not a hassle We don't know, but it's not your typical 2-week all clear period. Basically, he's saying it was a bad business decision. Here you go. John, this is from Jack Nicklaus. John is a big boy and understands we have rules. And unfortunately, rules are something you may not like, but they are the rules we have right now, and you have to abide by them.
Well, that is totally true. And the PGA Tour professionals are told to get their vaccine. And I'm not trying to say vaccines are good or bad. I'm not even going to say whether I'm vaccinated or not on the air. That's not the point. But the point is there's double standards. If that was Tiger Woods, if that was Phil Mickelson, on that tour, Jon Rahm has a reputation. He doesn't have the I can't read this on my screen.
The head here too.
But
yeah,
I mean,
all you had to do was do this off screen.
Off screen. There were discreet ways to do this.
It should have been, honestly, it should have been on the PGA's radar. Like, correct? Like they saw it.
Was. Just so you know, Don, it
was on the radar.
He had already been notified before the tournament that he could withdraw because he was within close contact of somebody that had it.
Like
and he chose not to.
Right. He had 6 consecutive days of testing prior to the event.
Absolutely.
And then he was partially vaccinated once he found out that there was a potential that he was in close contact. So, but they could not have handled this worse.
Yeah. No, they could have handled it better for me because I made a lot of money. My DraftKings picks went from okay to great. I cashed in 15 of 22 DraftKings lineups this weekend, which would have probably been somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 of 22 if Jon Rahm didn't withdraw. So I'm just going to say sarcastically that it made me a lot of money.
So Jack Nicklaus again. He put himself in a position to get exposed. How? I don't know. Like Jack Nicklaus sounds like an asshole here.
Well, yeah,
he sounds like an asshole here. I'm not
I don't want to get political with the answer to that comment. But I get what you're saying. Very major political comments based off of that.
So there were 3. So again, I'm using this article because this article is basically putting it all on the Rahm Nunes guy, right? Mm-hmm. Making an exception would be unfair to the other 3 players who were forced to withdraw after testing since competition returned a year ago. Competition equity, sending him out as a single would create advantages not available to other players participating as twosomes.
That is true.
That is true. But I'm going to say something, and again, this could be me being dumb off this. Y'all, it's golf. How close are you actually supposed to be?
You don't have to actually say.
No, go ahead, Don.
You could Chip, I think what you're saying is hypothetically, and Phil, you might have mentioned it earlier, hypothetically, he could have played a solo round by himself without any close contact to anybody. And that would have been a viable way to say, hey, listen, you've got to finish. You're going to be pulled off the course, but you're going to finish your third round to, finish the 4th round, but the 4th round is going to be a solo round by yourself without close contact. And that would have been acceptable. He wouldn't have preferred it, but I feel like that would have been a viable answer.
Jon Rahm would have preferred it because Jon Rahm doesn't like a lot of people on tour. Jon Rahm has a reputation on tour. Okay, that's another whole subject there. And I get that you get an advantage by playing by yourself because you're not competing directly with the person in front of you. But on the flip side of the equation, his 6-stroke lead that he had, based off of how Morikawa and the actual winner, who Morikawa did not win, Patrick Cantlay won in a playoff. It went to a playoff. Patrick Cantlay was actually another favorite of the event. Yeah, playoff. Those guys 6 strokes behind. There's a point in a golf tournament, whether it's the 3rd round or the 4th round, where everybody knows who's winning the golf event. When you could tell based off of the odds on DraftKings or FanDuel who is going to win the event. Jon Rahm could have gone out and shot one of his worst rounds of the year and still won the event. So I think that is where the problem has come with a lot of people is that he basically had such a lead. It would be like, let's go back 20 years because it's the 20th anniversary of the Lakers-Sixers in the finals. Let's just go and say in game 4 or game 5, Kobe and Shaq get pulled from the series, both at the same time, and are done from the series, and the Sixers come back and win it. Isn't there an asterisk on that championship right there now?
Absolutely, because they didn't
and that's
play.
Basically what happened with Cantlay winning on Sunday. There's got to be an asterisk mentally in people's minds, because there's no way Jon Rahm, even on his worst day, was going to blow that lead.
All right, so Rich, we've now thrown this whole round. What are your thoughts on everything that we're saying? Because you've been very pensive at embracing all of this.
I mean, I have no idea. I don't really watch it. So, I mean, I look at it this way. You said there was 3 other people who tested positive this year for it. And
since the golf came back, yeah. And they were all pulled as well.
That sucks. But guess what? They were pulled. So, I mean, I don't like how they did it.
I think my issue.
Let me clarify that. Let me clarify that. A lot more than a few people have been pulled from events from testing positive. Just so you know, players said there's probably been about 20 to 30 professional golfers pulled from the PGA Tour, and I'm guessing on the exact number, but I can name about 15 guys off the top of my head that have tested positive the week of an event. And because I know personally, I'm big into the DraftKings end of the thing, and I personally have had 7 guys withdraw from a lineup of mine because of COVID. So it's been a lot more than that.
I missed one key phrase here. It's 3 other tour players were forced to withdraw after testing positive during an event.
Okay. Well,
I missed the word during, and I apologize.
But see, during an event for a fantasy player, during is once the event starts at 8 a.m. There have been 3 instances that I know of, specifically Siwoo Kim, a couple other guys that have withdrawn before they teed off, but once the event started. So once the event starts, in a gambling aspect, you've already placed your bet once the event starts. So you can't get your money back on that aspect of it. But a lot of golfers have tested positive. Golf was the first sport back last year. After all sports shut down across the entire country and across the entire world, golf was the first sport back. And a lot of people, I was already gambling on golf before that, but a lot of people got into golf, gambling fantasy-wise, because it was the only thing available.
It was the only game in town.
I don't want to say novice, because a year of gambling on golf is a lot of information, because golf is a year-round sport. But, you know, the gambling aspect aside, a lot of golfers have tested positive because they don't require you, just like other sports, to get vaccinated. Not saying you should get vaccinated or not, but they do not require it. But you know, signing up for a tournament, when you enter a tournament, that if you test positive, your money's on the line.
I don't know. I saw this happen. It caught my attention, which is weird because, again, it's golf, and golf does not catch my attention. I shared it with the missus. The missus this morning was like, are you kidding me? I have some thoughts on this. She's, like I said, she is literally over there right now, like crouched down with her phone, angrily typing the thoughts into the chat. Like, she has thoughts on this. It stood out to me, and that's, Phil, why I wanted you so much to pop on. And so her aspect of it is she works in HR. So she was like, HIPAA violation. I'm all over this. Say what? You can't share that information. That information is not yours to share.
I honestly, let me sum this up before I roll out of here and let you guys finish this up.
I want to let you go. I get back in the hot tub.
I would not have any issue with him being forced to withdraw if it wasn't done on live TV. If PGA did it, like I said before, you have to go into a private room and sign your scorecard, confirm it with a PGA professional that is accurate. And there have been instances on tour where the golfer's scorecard does not match the professional scorecard, and then there's strokes deducted from their score and all. So, if this was done off the air, I'd have been like, "This is no big deal. This is part of playing golf, not getting vaccinated, whatever, blah blah blah." He took the risk, whatever.
The way it was done.
Literally, when they're saying it, if you were watching it live and the way Jim Nantz was announcing it. Like, he just had a newborn baby a few weeks ago. Did something happen to the baby? Did something happen to his wife? Yeah. What the hell happened that he's breaking down in tears on live TV? It was handled and how it was done so poorly. And that's the problem a lot of golf fans have. Not that he was forced to withdraw,
And that's the problem
but
I have.
how he was told.
That's it. Yeah, I think we can all agree that the way that the PGA, that CBS, they all probably handled it in the worst way possible.
And I don't think that this is done. I don't. I think that there's going to be a legal issue here. I really do.
It could be. So
Regardless,
Jon Rahm went and did the professional thing and said it the right way and said, "Hey, this is my fault." Blah blah blah. Whatever. That was, I don't know. That was just that was grown up Jon Rahm, because Jon Rahm's been known to be an immature person on the PGA Tour in general, and he's had an attitude and a temper on the PGA Tour to begin with. So this is grown up dad Jon Rahm talking in his statement, but still, if PGA Tour and if CBS handled everything different, I wouldn't even be on this show right now. This would not be a topic.
no,
of
I'll be honest, you
I
wouldn't.
don't even think Chip would know that this happened if it wasn't done on live TV.
I wouldn't. I will confirm that. I would have no idea. That's how little I care about golf, because it's just not on my radar. But seeing this, and it transcended what golf is, and it turned into you guys messed up sharing this information and how you did it. Not the fact that he was removed. They made the right decision there, but you don't announce it on live television.
Yeah.
That's it.
Correct.
And with that, Phil, splish splash, Sixers in 5.
Hey,
Go back in
the Continental is out. Sixers in 5.
All right, you two drunk on broaders. Let me talk to you here. Let me talk to, oh God, hold on, wait. I know Phil is on his way out, but there's a novel in the comment section. It's going to cover up your face, Rich, for a second, so I apologize.
Bye, Rich.
Bye, Rich. Rich, did you take the elevator down? All right, I'm not sure what the specific rules are when it comes to sports revealing medical issues, but there are times when, for example, football players are put down for illnesses and they never say what it is. So somewhere in the sport, there's the ability to not reveal specifics. Ooh. Ding, that's a point. This situation stripped him of that and the fact that the news outlets knew before he did. I'm curious to know if it was leaked by someone who placed a long shot bet. Oh my God.
Hold on. Peggy, just Tattoo. Next time she's got a comment like this, she just gets the camera. Like, just give her the camera.
She just comes into the frame.
Like, just walk into the frame and just say your piece. Oh, where? Hold on. There, hi. Say your piece, love.
She's there.
Good stuff. There she is. Say your piece.
But yeah,
Speak your words.
So,
I could see the. Hold on, wait. Where's Rich?
yeah.
Hey guys, hey. Been here the whole time. Try the veal.
Yeah.
Try the veal. It's delicious.
But again, she's absolutely right. There are just different ways to do things, and she's 100% right. And I've learned that in my marriage that typically she's just right.
Chip, even if she was wrong, I would say she's not wrong. I'm just letting you know.
Happy wife, happy life.
We are married men here. We are married men. We know the rules.
Yes.
You're right, Ben. You were right.
Yes.
She is right. And like I said, I told her the story today, and she was beside herself. She put her HR hat right on and went, hold up. I have some thoughts about this. And she was waiting for this section of the show. And the fact that I just spent 26 minutes on golf blows my own damn mind.
And moving on.
I'm done with golf.
Back to fun stuff.
I'm done with golf. For the love of God, get rid of Spencer Howard.
Who?
Oh my God.
They cut the ties on Scott Kingery today. I mean, they designated him for
I was
assignment.
ready for that. Ready for that. See, look, that was there. That was next. But let's start with Spencer Howard.
Put him on, Rich, I don't know if you know, they put him on waivers.
Designated him for assignment.
They put him on waivers.
Someone is not going to claim.
We'll go to the next section. No. Scott Kingery and Nick Maton are both back in AAA. Scott Kingery, they were like, we are going to designate him. And all the other teams in baseball were like, we're good. We don't want him. So he is now back in AAA with his $20+ million contract.
Yeah.
Which is cheap, so it doesn't matter because it's over like 9 years. So it doesn't.
But he sucks.
They signed him off the intentions of him to be good because he showed promise. Then he came up and was broken.
Well,
and now he's still broken. Sorry.
They signed him when they thought he was going to be Scotty Jetpacks, and he's Scotty No Packs.
Scotty Shipwreck.
I don't understand. Let me rephrase that. I do understand because I've watched this team for long enough to understand, but I don't understand how they got it this wrong on him.
Well, they got it this wrong, not just on him, but their farm system is a miss. Like, go up and down their draft, go up and down everything, like full circle. It is bad from start to finish.
There's no one.
They drafted guys on analytics, right? And guys that they thought they were going to be able to piecemeal or to fit certain pieces in. I mean, look at the guys that they drafted at the top of the draft. Cornelius Randolph.
Who?
I mean, who's the
5'11" corner outfielder who doesn't have power.
And the guy that they drafted number 1 overall, who can't get out of AA.
It kills me. Like, you want, and we've talked about this before. And again, I'm not quite at the blow it up mentality. I'm close. I'm so close to the blow it up because this team is really bad.
Okay, so listen, Chip, what? By the time this team gets good, those guys are going to be old. Those guys are going to have zero value. At least right now, those guys have some value. By the time you get to the point where anything is relevant, I mean, Harper is going to be in his mid to late 30s. Real Muta is going to probably be playing first because he's not going to be catching anymore. And they can't. This is it. They can't get. Yeah, they're 5 years away from.
And I know Matt's put this comment on a whole bunch of my shows, and like I said, Matt was waiting. Matt was waiting for this section.
It's so relevant, though. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. It's so relevant because you have zero farm system. So you bring in a guy like Dombrowski, who the only thing he does is trade prospects for proven players. Your well is dried up, Cuzzo. Your well is dried up. You have no prospects to trade for proven players. So what did he do? He patchwork quilted with free agency with DD because he was familiar with the team.
And DD was a good player, but he's having a horrific season.
Yes, he has no range at shortstop anymore. His range is just shot.
And now he's injured.
You had to sign him.
Right.
But you look at Maton was the best thing that they brought up from the minor leagues, and he's not that good. That dude has zero pop and is also equally as bad as a defender as DD Gregorius.
And he hustles. You know, I respect the hustle, but
I love guys who hustle and can't play, Chip. Like, that's my favorite.
That's my very favorite. That's why I'm signed to a 40-day contract with the Phillies.
Chip, you coach little kids.
I can't play.
You ump little kids' games, and you always have that one kid, Johnny, out there who's not that good, but he hustles and makes the team. That's what Maton is. That's what half of these minor leaguers are that pump up. Well, they have hustle. Do not tell me that the kid has hustle, because that means he has no shot of doing anything else. That means he has no shot of being successful.
So can we have a conversation real quick?
This kid has is he tries hard. Fuck try hard. Give me somebody.
Can we have a conversation real quick about my very, very hated Philly right now? Travis Jankowski.
I have no idea who that guy is.
Joe
That's the guy who got tugged out between second and third by the catcher.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I just had no idea who that guy was.
Sweet hair, bro.
Joe Dirt.
And again, all of us, I mean, I'm the best one to talk out of that situation to comment on people's hair. But, no, I look like I'm, anyway. But again, this guy, like, you have zero baseball sense. But you're telling me that Jankowski is on the 40-man roster. That means that you have nobody in your minor league system right now that is better than Travis Jankowski.
No.
That's a problem.
That's how
that's a problem. The fact that your bullpen is an abomination. The fact that Vince Velasquez, look, Velasquez is doing what he can, but he's a number 5 starter at best. And he's starting to come back down to earth. Spencer Howard, you can't get out of the third inning. The fact that Spencer Howard, and I'm going to now shift it back a little bit. I'm going to switch it back to the Spencer Howard conversation because I know Matt has been waiting for this. The fact that Spencer Howard between the second and third inning, which is when he gets his first at bat, typically loses 4 to 6 miles per hour off of his fastball.
He has zero conditioning. He is a fat boy. No offense. I don't shame because I'm a bigger boy
we've
now.
had fat boys pitchers. We've had Blanton, who never said no to a Twinkie.
Dude, this guy can't say no to cheesesteaks. Get him out of Philly. All right? Get him out of Philly. I have a gut. I get it. But I guarantee I can last on the mound.
He's in the American League for a reason. He don't got to run.
Bro,
but this is the problem. This is the problem. He's considered our number 1 pitching prospect. That's the issue.
Yeah.
It goes back to your saying. Well, he tries hard. This is the bullshit that we have to deal with. And it's not funny anymore. Like
it's not. And that's the thing.
Let's put it in perspective of real professions. You both are teachers. I'm a teacher. I don't have a degree to teach, and I hate children. But I try hard. Does that make me a good teacher? No, it doesn't, Chip. I would be fired on Tuesday, and I got hired on Monday.
You wouldn't be hired.
But this is like the sad part. Like we laugh about it because it's true.
It's incredulous laughing at this point.
True. You have a bunch of guys who were on a team who made it because there's no one else.
Right.
That's why they're here. They're
the best of what's left.
And that's a problem because now, look, Spencer Howard, he's given you starts that last 2 innings.
By starts, you mean
he was the first guy to throw the ball.
Just the first guy.
Yeah, well, that's now becoming a job. Like, oh, he's our opener.
Yeah, that's Tampa Bay baseball philosophy. That's analytics.
What the fuck is that?
It's analytics.
Here's the issue. Well, they go, oh, well, let's try moving him to the bullpen. No.
Yes.
That is the best.
No.
That is the best.
Throw your wife.
Put that on there right now.
All right.
Put that on there.
Yes.
He would not let us down.
Yes.
Freddie Prinze Jr. would not let us down.
What was his name in that? Sean? Wasn't it Sean?
Yes, it's Sean.
He was the lefty, and he got first pitch. Griffey takes him yard. When Griffey was a Red.
When he's on the Cincinnati Reds.
When he gets called up. I love it.
By the Phillies! By the Phillies!
And the scout is the doctor from Scrubs. I love it. I love the Scotch fastball. It's a great fastball. Love that movie.
But like that's
a great
don't
undercover baseball
repurpose
movie.
him. Don't redefine his role. His role, like if you're looking at where he should pitch, he should play consistently left out. That's where he should play. Left out.
It makes me so upset. Oh, I'm landing in Adam's
you look at
comments.
the rest of this team, like Hector Neris, and I've been saying since the season started, not a closer. Hector Neris is not a closer. But this whole idea of let's maybe go closer by committee then. Well, Brandon Kinsler is closed, but we're not going to use him as the closer. Connor Brogdon, Sam Coonrod, these guys all throw. Archie Bradley is your best closer.
Chip,
stop calling me your kid's name.
Chip, stop.
Sorry. Stop. You're trying to put rationale.
Man, you can't do that.
Where there is none. There's no rationale to be found.
Because there's a reason though. Because
this bullpen,
we were sold. Once again, and this is my fault now. It's the fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. So here's the problem. At the beginning of the season, we were sold a bill of goods on this team.
Yes,
we were sold the bill of goods on. Look, the bullpen is better. We got Ian Kinsler. Coonrod's a great pitcher. Archie Bradley's a great pitcher, and these guys are good pitchers. I'm starting to actually adjust my blame once again to kind of go full circle with my show. It's the managing of it all too. Girardi is not doing a good job. And you can see that based on the fact that Gabe Kapler is doing a good job.
Girardi has no one. There's absolutely no one for any type of situation. His best pinch hitter coming off the bench at one point was Adam Hazley. That was his best pinch hitter.
Just wait, because I'm going to guess about 2 weeks away before we get him back on the line.
He's not playing baseball right now.
Yes, he is. He's back. He's back to the minors.
Okay. Because he took a hiatus.
With Kingery going down and Maton going down, I would say within the next week, Hazley's coming back up. In which case, and I know we've had a conversation about this,
Said it.
And I know we've had a conversation about it as far as the outside of baseball stuff, but Odubel Herrera is at least the center fielder of this team for the purposes of he's the only damn guy that can do it.
Yeah, I mean,
regardless of everything else, and removing the fact that he's a piece of garbage outside of baseball, he's the only guy on the roster that can play. Because if you put Jankowski in center field,
and that's not saying much.
Screwed.
He's also serviceable, but not that good.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. The frustration.
Oh yeah, I'm a 1,000,000% agreement with you, Chip. I'm just saying.
Well, no. But that's my frustration. I was sold a bill of goods on this team of, look, we brought back Real Muto, we brought back Didi. Harper's going to have a breakout season. You know, you have everything lined up perfectly, and we'll fix center field. But look at all these relief pitchers we brought in, and it's a joke.
But hold on, because we all did the season preview shows. You could not do the alternative, which was to run it back with whoever garbage cans you had out there. So I give Dombrowski a little bit of credit in a sense where there was an attempt to say, hey, listen, those guys sucked. We're going to get a bunch of other guys, and we're going to get guys that throw gas and do this and do that. Now, we knew that there was an alternative. We knew that there was a chance that you were going to get the crappy version of all these guys. It just so happens that we're getting the crappy version of everybody.
But like, how can you I'm looking at one move. So one move I'm looking at here. Right?
I want that shirt, Chip.
Can you keep what's that?
I want that shirt.
The Kelly Kapowski?
That's a fantastic shirt.
I know. She joined us tonight. Right? I'm looking at one move here. How can you responsibly keep marching out Spencer Howard as a starting pitcher only to have Ranger Suarez come in and clean up your messes?
Can I answer this question? Can I answer this question honestly? I'm going to answer this question because us assholes are still watching it, still paying for fucking.
I know.
I bought this year. We're still putting money in the pockets of the owner, and we're still going to games because we're so excited to get back to normal. That's the reason why they can do that to us. It has nothing to do with them wanting to win baseball games. It has everything to do with them fucking making money. That's why it happens, Chip, but it's not going to get solved. It's not going to get better. It is only going to get worse. And that's the problem.
Yes. And I was active on Twitter, Jason.
Yes, you were, Chip.
Sending DMs to Taijuan Walker trying to get him to be on the damn team.
You did. And Nick said the same thing last week. That's exactly what Jason said. And Chip, I'm in agreement with everything that you're saying. And the sad thing is, Don's worked up. I'm worked up. You're worked up. Because it's like Saturday morning, right? Saturday morning, first day of summer, school's out. You go and knock on your best friend's door. You want to have like a pickup wiffle ball game, and he's not there. And then you spend all day riding around for something to do. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like the Phillies are like my best friend who let me down, like when I wanted to have some fun and like let loose.
Right.
That's how I feel the Phillies are like treating me right now.
And the biggest problem is going to be in the next month and a half, however long the Sixers run is, right? However long the Sixers run is, the next month and a half. At some point, there's not going to be any more distractions from how bad this Philadelphia Phillies team is.
Right.
There won't be any more basketball. There won't be any more hockey. The Eagles haven't done enough yet. The only thing that's going to be, as it is, the dog days of summer is watching Phillies baseball. And at that point, and I'm going back to my guy, Ranger Suarez. He has pitched 17 innings in 2021. He has not yet allowed an earned run. How is he not at least your number 5 starter? Because Spencer Howard isn't it.
Can I read something to you real quick?
I would love you to.
So Nick and my buddy Ryan and me, we have a group chat. Nick just put this out there. In 2011, we really drafted Roman Quinn in the second round as a shortstop. We took Roman Quinn over Mookie Betts.
That didn't work. But now here's my question. Right, here's my question. Would Mookie Betts have made it all the way up to the majors, or would he have been traded?
He would have made it.
Mookie Betts would never have seen the Philadelphia Phillies uniform.
At the time in the outfield, yes, he would. He would. Because the outfield was that
We
big.
would have traded him for someone. You're
Nah,
talking about the same team that has traded every single potentially good player.
Mookie Betts
Right?
made it to the
JP
league
Crawford
in like 2 years.
is a Gold Glove shortstop. Freddie Galvis is having great seasons.
See, this is all right. Now this goes. See, now this is where you want to talk about management, and this is what Gabe Kapler's problem was. You had Maikel Franco.
Maikel Franco having great seasons.
He did, but JP
JP
Crawford, he wanted him to play third. He didn't want to put him at short. He wasn't playing over Maikel Franco. So who are you letting go? You're letting go the guy who you gave sporadic at bats to, aka JP Crawford. Never put him in the field. Right. That's the guy you ship out, and then 2 years later, Maikel Franco walks because you're not going to pay him because he stinks. It has nothing to do with. It has everything to do with the coach at the time and who they want. Like when we had Pete, whatever his name was, and he had that. No, not Pete McKinnon. Yes,
Pete McKinnon. Yeah,
he had his own people, and he had them where they wanted to play. And now it's like, okay, now you see half those guys are on. Freddie Galvis.
Cesar Hernandez doing great.
Cesar Hernandez is killing it. He led the league in doubles last year, Cesar Hernandez. But he didn't fit in because we had Scotty Jetpacks, who we signed, like Jason said, before he played a lick in the minors. It has nothing to do with we're trading these guys. It's everything with the coaches and what they want to do with them. So like you said, it goes down to management. Gabe Kapler could not manage the players that he had on the Phillies. He goes to San Fran. He's successful because there's no pressure and nobody gives a fuck about the Giants. Let's be real.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the Giants. But Brandon Crawford's a great shortstop. And then they have pieces. And Guzman is pitching out of his mind. But he's on his 7th team. Well, it's easy to play when you have zero pressure.
Right.
But the Spencer Howard thing, it's done. It's like the Cole Irvin thing. They moved on from Cole Irvin after 1 year. They need to do the same thing with Spencer Howard because he does not have it.
I know that Jason is on here. And Jason, you put a comment a couple minutes ago that I'm going to put back up at this point. Because you and I, Jason, I'm scrolling for it. I'm looking for it. Here it is. Well, you and I, Jason, had a little tete-a-tete, a little head-on-head action about a certain pitcher on the Philadelphia Phillies pitching staff. And it seems, Mr. Voorhees over here, that your opinion has changed. Are you not in the Aaron Nola is an ace camp anymore, sir? Because I believe, and I can go to the tape, that we have a whole damn show on it.
Well, I saw something.
I've come around. I agree. I want to come on the show.
But listen, I saw there was a statistic that I heard on Baseball Tonight with Buster Olney where they were talking about the Phillies have only won 10 out of the last 30 Aaron Nola starts.
But here's the thing.
That's a problem. Like
DeGrom has the same problem.
Correct.
The Mets don't win when DeGrom pitches because the Mets don't necessarily win. However, it's not because of DeGrom. DeGrom has a .62 ERA. That is the lowest and the first 9 starts of a season in the history of baseball.
Well, I saw there was a game I caught the other night where he had 5 pitches in 1 inning that were 101 or up.
It was the first inning. It was the first inning of that game. 4 of them were balls. 4 of them were balls. I'm just throwing it out there. Velocity. 4 of them were balls.
When I look at that phrase, Ace, Aaron Nola, my biggest knock on him is consistency. Yeah. When he starts, you don't know what you're going to get, and it's the whole damn team.
You also never have a lineup that can hit behind Aaron Nola. Like I look at it. Okay, yeah, Aaron Nola, he'll let up 4 runs a game. That's terrible. That's not ace worthy. Agree, Chip. He is not an ace. But is he a bad pitcher? Is he not a number 2? No. But you also have a dog shit lineup who never consistently has Bryce Harper, Gene Segura, Didi
But
Gregorius,
again,
Alec
DeGrom
Bohm.
has the
What fuck
same
is wrong with
problem.
Alec Bohm?
DeGrom goes out and pitches and gives up half of a run, and he still has his team lose.
and loses because they're that bad.
Because they're that bad. So DeGrom has the same problem, but DeGrom is an absolutely dominant pitcher.
Yeah.
I do not believe that. So every team has an ace, and I get that. But
No, they don't have an ace. They have a number one.
they have a
Number
number
one
one
starter.
and there it
That's
is.
not an ace.
That's it. Every team has a number one starter, but not every team has an ace. There are maybe 4 or 5 aces in the league at any given time.
After this banned substance thing, there's one ace in the league now,
DeGrom.
and that is DeGrom.
Yeah.
That is it. Because Garrett Cole, I read the whole article about it today. His RPMs, like in his spin on the ball, dropped like 400 after the whole no foreign substance. Same thing with Bauer, and they both got lit the fuck up in their past 2 starts.
And
So
again, you don't
there's
just get-
one
once
ace,
you-
and that is DeGrom.
Once you achieve ace status, you don't just get to be an ace for the rest of your career unless you pitch it. Like Nolan Ryan was an ace his entire career. He never fell off.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw was an ace. He is not anymore.
Yeah, like 3 years ago, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So there is a shelf life. So Aaron Nola in one season, and Kelly Kapowski had to lean in for that, right? Aaron Nola in one season wasn't, I know, you guys got way too close to my nerves, right?
Sorry.
Aaron, thank God for virtual podcasting.
I got the Joe Dirt.
Aaron Nola for one season was an ace. But again, he consistently didn't do it. Therefore, is not an ace. He's
I'm not even going to argue with that anymore. He's not.
He's one of the best pitchers on the staff, but until he starts doing what he does consistently, you can't call him an ace.
But you look at it as how I look at this whole team in a whole, pressure. But the pressure is not making diamonds because Aaron Nola knows. And you see him out there. He's laboring. He's trying. He's missing because he's out there aiming. He's not pitching. And as they say, the little
you
kids.
hear that in Little League. Don't aim, just pitch.
Don't aim, just pitch. But he looks at it as, I'm going to go into the 7th inning. I'll have 11 strikeouts. I'll have 2 walks. I'll have 3 hits and 2 earned runs. And we're going to lose this game 2-1 or 2-0. Or maybe, I go back to last year, I'll come out and we'll lose 7-1. Because Boilers, he's closer. And 100% agree. But this team is lacking something that everybody else has, and that's confidence. And when you see your we'll say our number one starter, because he is not an ace, out there laboring so much because he's afraid to turn a lead over to a team or fall behind because he knows once my team's
not getting it back.
We're not coming back. We do not have it in us to come back. And that's what this Phillies team is. It's a trash team with no heart, no soul. We got Bryce Howard. I'm just going to throw him, but Spencer Howard and Bryce Harper.
Don't you dare, sir. Don't
we
you
have
dare.
Bryce Harper and Spencer Howard as our futures who have literally done jack shit for us. Bryce Harper, where's this MVP caliber guy that we were supposed to get that we signed for $30 million? Nowhere. JT, so happy we signed a guy who throws guys out, but when's he going to start hitting home runs? We need at least 20 or 30 from the guy. And then you have a bunch of nobodies. Yeah. Well, this is what you're going to have for the next 10 years because it's not going to get better because you either trade the guys to get unproven players or you keep them for way too long and don't have unproven players in the minors to help you out. Because obviously there's no scouts. They already cut their scouting department. You saw that in the beginning of the year. They cut 2 of their international scouts and their West Coast scout. So what are they going to do?
Nothing. There's nothing to do because they've dug themselves into such a hole. And that, on that lovely happy ass note, is where I'm going to leave it. The Phillies and Jason said this great. I lost the comment already. He was commenting so much. The Phillies and Flyers are doomed, especially because the Lehigh Valley Phantoms hired some dude who is just like hey, we really like him kind of guy, but not an actual good coach.
When have the Flyers done anything in free agency?
Nothing.
They're going to get rid of Nolan Patrick. That's what I know.
Good.
I told you. I keep saying on the show, and Matt's going to give me some shit for this. I'm really looking forward to becoming, watching the Flyers because, Philly 4. But let's go Seattle Kraken.
I just feel bad for Patrick with the head injuries. That's what
Yeah.
I do too. But he signed here and hasn't been able to do anything. And at some point, us as the fans, we have to stop accepting mediocrity.
I
We have
agree.
to stop. Matt, I'm literally in my house.
You
How
go
much more home?
Matt.
How much more home can I go?
Go to
Right
your
next to
home.
Run home. It's been a year going
Home for your home.
I'll tell you guys
That's
one
not
funny
your
story.
wife.
I like to tell my funny stories. I told my great mascot story on your podcast last week, which was hysterical still, by the way.
It's good.
But I played my show on Saturday night at in New Hope, and the song that we opened the night with was "House Party" by Sam Hunt, the country jam.
Oh,
And I went and I said, I'm thinking about the lyrics, and I went, that's like the last thing we want. We've had too many house parties. Get me the fuck out of the house party. And yes, honey, I do talk about the Kraken all the time at home.
just point the camera to her. She's still there.
I already tried. She's hiding in the corner. My camera's not rotating enough too much. But she's there. Oh, she's standing up. She's tossing the hair real quick.
Get it,
All right,
girl.
so I'll tell you what. You can do the closings, right? So wait, here's the beautiful
I'm
wife.
not prepared to be on screen.
There she is.
Oh, look at the viewership going up.
Every guy in the tri-state area.
So you need to relate.
I thought it was for
Okay,
me.
so I'm going to click these banners, and you're going to talk about our sponsor site. First off, we're going to thank our two. Well, Phil jumped on, so Jacuzzi Phil, we're going to call him.
Phil? Is that you, Phil?
Jacuzzi Phil Hefner for popping on and talking some golf.
Of course.
Oh,
There's something wrong with me.
I don't know how to do these banners, but I can.
I'm gonna
talk
do the
about
clicking.
them.
So we gotta thank our guests, the co-hosts from Drunk on Broad, Don and Rich.
I'm familiar.
Okay, they have Twitter handles. So do you want to share their Twitter handles?
I can't see that.
This one says Mr.
can't
I'll go full screen for you here. Here you go.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. So you got to give Don's Twitter handle. He's
Mr. Speedway Science.
Mr. Seaway Science. You got to share Rich's Twitter handle.
No.
No, don't do it.
JC 620. Is that your birthday?
It is. My birthday's coming up.
See, we're 4 days apart.
There
Is
you
that what
go.
you said?
Yeah.
I knew we
On
get
the
along.
24th, see?
I'll
Sorry, I guess you probably
I'll
listen
get
in
your
if you want.
cancer
I
mail.
can.
It's fine.
So there you go. Yes, Dick. I'm not. No.
Why does this happen every single time?
Why does what happen every single time?
Oh.
No.
No.
Then we got to thank some of our great sponsors. So we are sponsored by
Statement Games.
yes, a
Fun, free twist on fantasy sports.
awesome. We're also sponsored by
Oddjams.com. Using their arbitrary
Their arbitrage.
I can't see.
They're
I wear
arbitrary.
glasses. Calculator to not lose money.
There you go. We're also sponsored by
99jersey.com.
so they have a new code AATBirds20 for a 20% discount at checkout. We
We
are
have a lot.
also sponsored
Is
by
this the one? Manscaped.com. I don't even want to read any of this because I'm going to say this stuff's awesome. And I know people are like, oh, sponsor, sponsor, sponsor. No, I promise you this is coming from a female. Get it for Father's Day.
Get It. Go
That
get it.
too. But there's a code AAT Birds for 20% off. I highly recommend it.
The ball
Ladies.
deodorant smells delicious. That's all you need.
Yes, that too.
It helps prevent odors and chafing.
And chafing.
Men are
And
We're not
finally, not so much a sponsor, but you can get all of your new merchandise at
aatbirds.com/shop.
all right, where you can get all of our newest designs, including one of our newest, which is Playoff Maxi. There you go. We all just disappeared again. Rich, you ain't coming back from that, but there you are. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Jason, you and I will talk off the air because we have to rehash our Aaron Nola conversation.
Ooh.
I'm going to play again for everybody the new Manscaped special Father's Day commercial. It is magnificent. She's already secondhand embarrassed for what's about to happen.
I am.
So I want to thank everybody for listening in. Don't forget Birds, Fairway, all about the Birds Network. Fairway to Heaven is tomorrow night, followed by a Sixers post-game show. I know that Don and Rich and Nick, they did their Drunk on Broad podcast tonight to prevent the mix over.
Yes.
But you guys are going back to Tuesday next week?
Yes.
Okay. So check them out on the social medias. Wednesday night is the All About the Birds weekly report, which we haven't actually done in a couple weeks because of the Sixers. Birds, Beers, and BS is Friday's YouTube exclusive. There's a draft show. We have all kinds of stuff, so check it out. And on that note, as we end all shows here, we're going to say go Sixers as well tonight. Go Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
And we're out of beer, so we're out of here. Here's the all-new Manscaped commercial. Enjoy, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Watch it.
Father's Day is just around the corner, and y'all probably need a gift for your hairy dad. Make your dad proud this year and get him and yourself the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the Lawnmower 4.0. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Shoot, it was just last week when I asked my dad, "Hey, Daddy, how's your balls doing?" He said, "Son, it's a hairy situation." I said, "Well, boy, Manscaped just released a brand new product, the Lawnmower 4.0. Imagine surprising your dad with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized body hair trimmer that says your balls will thank you on the box. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Well, you might ask, how is the Lawnmower 4.0 different from other trimmers? Well, it includes a multi-function on-and-off switch that can engage a travel light. Great feature if your father or yourself to travel. And it gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when you need a more precise shave. Shoot, now you can shave your balls in the dark. You can trim with additional guard lengths and has a wireless charging system. Yeah, you heard that right. Wireless charging ball trimmers are a real thing. The Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer is the best nose hair trimmer on the market and perfect gift for your pops if you've seen that nose bush sticking out your dad's nose. Not to mention amazing products like the Cologne, Crop Mop, Ball Wipes, Crop Reviver, Ball Toner, and Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Get your dad a gift you know they will use. That's 20% off for free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code AATBirds. Don't forget that you came from your daddy's balls. This year, show your original home some love with Manscaped.